Happy New Year and welcome to What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. I am your host, Pete Pardo, publisher of www.seaoftranquility.org, now also here on YouTube. Here we are on Wednesday, January the 7th, our first video show of 2015. So welcome. Thanks for everybody for tuning in the latter part of 2014, our inaugural year on YouTube. Hope you liked our year-end episode 2 weeks ago where I counted down my top 12 of 2014. Here we are in a new year. We've got a slew of new stuff that's covered today. Some of these releases are from the latter part of 2014, and others are brand new stuff for this year. And we're going to continue in the coming weeks with brand new January releases and February releases and all that wonderful stuff. So we're going to kick off first with a very late 2014 release from the Tranquility Records label out of Sweden. In fact, you're listening to it right now. It's the longtime progressive rock, hard rock band called Lucifer was. Their latest is Dies Grows. This is it right here. If you've never heard this band before, they've been around since like the early 70s, but they didn't actually start recording until probably like almost 20 years later. But in the last like 15, 20 years, they've been pretty active on the CD scene. And this band is really, really interesting. There's really not a lot of other groups out there that sound like them. They've got that Jethro Tull style flute, the heavy Hammond organ like Deep Purple, Black Sabbath guitar riffs. Sounds like a pretty good combination if you're a fan of like old school hard rock and metal and prog, and that's exactly what this is. So it's 10 really interesting songs. It's pretty heavy, it's pretty progressive, it's just very cool. If you love those three bands, Purple, Sabbath, Tull, you really need to check out this band. Lucifer was. Remember that name. I'm going to stick on the Tranquility label for another band from Sweden called 3 Seasons. This is their latest, Grow. This is their third release, and I really like these guys a lot. They're a trio, guitar, bass, drums. The guitar player also plays Hammond organ, and live, I believe they have a full-time keyboard player. But really, really good 70s power trio style hard rock. If you like, again, Deep Purple, Uriah Heep, Humble Pie, Zeppelin, that sort of thing, a little bit of Sabbath. It's heavy, it's bluesy, great guitar work, soulful vocals, a lot of grooves. Grand Funk Railroad comes to mind at times. Really, really strong band, really strong album. I highly recommend 3 Seasons if you haven't investigated them already. I'm going to switch on over to progressive rock. Some of you who have been prog fans for the last 10 to 20 years or so might have heard the U.S. band Metaphor. Malcolm Smith, their guitar player, has a brand new solo album out called We Were Here. Very strong, mostly on the instrumental side. He's got a couple of his fellow cohorts in Metaphor guesting on here on keyboards and vocals. But it's just a very, very strong prog album with a lot of fusion overtones. It's not by any means a like guitarist style solo album like you would think. It's very much almost like a band style effort. So there's a lot of great keyboard work. Guitar work is stellar. Great rhythms. Just really, really strong. If you like Metaphor, if you like good U.S. progressive rock and jazz fusion, Mr. Smith's album is a keeper. Investigate that one. All right, let's go over to, we got some, we're going to jump over to jazz, why don't we? ECM label. Michael Mantler, the Jazz Composers Orchestra Update. This is a kind of a live reimagining of a orchestral jazz album that Mantler did back in the 70s. And this was recorded back in 2013 in Vienna with a conductor, a full orchestra, and Mantler's trumpet. There's additional saxophone and guitar. It's just really, really good avant-garde orchestral jazz with a touch of avant-garde and prog, possibly. I like it a lot. Really good. It's dark. It's not very uplifting music. It's very moody, menacing at times, but really, really good. So if you're interested in some jazz that's kind of not of the bebop era style, but more of like kind of like an avant-garde type of thing, I highly recommend this from the always great folks at ECM. We're going to stick on them. Also, Robin Williamson, Trusting in the Rising Light. I'm not as enthusiastic about this one. Robin Williamson is a Celtic vocalist and harp player. also guitar player, and he's got with him Matt Mineri on viola and Chess Smith on vibraphone, drums, gongs, percussion, all that kind of stuff. This is more kind of like a spoken word. Williamson is telling stories. It's like a storytelling type of thing, almost like a poetry reading with very sparse instrumentation going on in the background. It's good, don't get me wrong. Just a full album's worth of this can be kind of taxing on the listener, but he's got this charm to his voice. He's not actually singing. He's more, it's like he's telling stories in a kind of half narrative, half spoken word, half sung dialect. And, it's kind of cool. It's a little relaxing. It's lulling. After about 20 minutes, it could kind of put you to sleep a little bit because it's so calming. But it's actually kind of cool. And I think for like a dark, wintry Saturday night in your house, you can't really do much outside. You got a fire lit, maybe a couple glasses of wine and a nice light meal. This might be the perfect accompaniment. So investigate it if it sounds like something you might be interested in. Lumen Drones, another ECM release. Check out that cool wolf on the front. This is... I hope I pronounce these names correctly. Nils Auckland on fiddles, Per Steiner Lai on guitars, and Orjan Holland on drums. All instrumental, very addicting, very mysterious, very alluring type of instrumental music. Kind of jazzy, kind of avant-garde, kind of proggy, atmospheric, electronic sounding at times. It's just really, really cool. I don't really know how to explain it. It's not really jazz, but for ECM, this is kind of a daring venture into left field, and I like it. Very, very good. Highly recommended. All right. Continuing on the new front. District 97, U.S. prog band. I'm sure a lot of you progressive rock fans have heard them over the last couple of years. They have released a live album with John Wetton, formerly of King Crimson, currently of Asia. It's called One More Red Night Live in Chicago. So I'm guessing, based on the brevity of this release, that the District 97 band played their full set, and then Wetton came out and did a full mini set of King Crimson songs with them, because that's basically all you have here. So, you've got One More Red Nightmare, The Great Deceiver, Lament, The Night Watch, Fallen Angel, Book of Saturday, 21st Century Schizoid Man, Starless, and Easy Money. All classic tunes from Wetton's era in King Crimson, with the exception of 21st Century Schizoid Man. They're all really good, really strong. It's just a shame that District 97's female singer doesn't really do much on here. It's kind of Wetton's show with the band backing him up. It's very solid, though. It's just heavy versions of these King Crimson classics, and Wetton is still in fine voice, so I like it. It's good. It's kind of brief. I wish they would have released it as a 2-disc set with the District 97 tunes on there as well, if that indeed was the case that night. Here we have another live release, Martin Turner and Friends, featuring Ted Turner and Lori Weisfeld. Well, if you're a classic rock fan or prog fan, all those names are connected to Wishbone Ash. This is called The Garden Party, a celebration of Wishbone Ash music, the private recording. This was recorded in 2002. If you've been following Wishbone Ash for all these years, you know that basically there's two versions going on right now. There's the Martin Turner version of Wishbone Ash and the Ted Turner version of, I totally screwed that up. It's the Andy Powell version, okay, and the Martin Turner version. So here we've got Martin Turner's version with guests Ted Turner on guitars and Lori Weisfeld, both former members, joining up with the band. So it's not actually the two competing Wishbone Ashes getting together. So it's basically the Martin Turner lineup of Wishbone Ash, the current lineup of Wishbone Ash, one half of the two competing, with a bunch of old friends doing all classic and more recent Wishbone Ash stuff. It's actually pretty good. I prefer the Andy Powell version myself, because he, to me, is the Wishbone Ash guitar player for me. But this is still pretty strong. It's fun. Check it out. If you like Wishbone Ash, you'll probably get a lot of enjoyment out of this. All right, we're going to go into some live albums, reissues, all that good stuff. So another late 2014 entry, Whitesnake Live in '84, Back to the Bone, Deluxe Edition, CD and DVD. So this is basically the slided in lineup of, the touring lineup of Whitesnake, which for many of you was the classic lineup. So again, you got David Coverdale, obviously, John Sykes on guitar, Cozy Powell on drums, Neil Murray on bass. Can't go wrong there. So we've got on the DVD, we've got Super Rock Live in Japan, 84. So they run through a lot of the great songs from the Slide It In album, plus some earlier favorites. Also, a bonus on the DVD, there's the last performance of that lineup with John Lord on keyboards before he jumped to join the reformed Deep Purple back in 84. So there's a couple tunes from his show with John Lord on it, with those four guys plus John Lord, which is really cool. On the CD side, you get 2 discs, which are basically a lot of the same songs, but recorded from different places from that 84 tour. You know, if you like Whitesnake, if you like this version of the band, this is a must-have. I can't really say more than that. Going to jump over to Eagle Rock, Rolling Stones from the Vault, LA Forum, live in 75. Yeah, this is great too, you know. If you love the Stones, 1975, Ronnie Wood's now in the band. Pretty cool time for them. So, you know, you've got a lot of tunes from, you know, the latter years of Mick Taylor, when Ronnie first joined the band after Taylor left. And you've got, the band performed a couple nights, actually I think four or five nights at the LA Forum on that tour. The DVD is from one night, which happened to be Keith Richards' birthday. And the CD portion is recorded from the night after, which was the last night, the Sunday night of that long run. Personally, I think the band's performance was better on the Sunday night show, so you get actually better band performance on the CD. DVD is a lot of fun. The quality is kind of iffy. There's just the lighting was really weird that night, so you get a lot of saturated reds and yellows and orange colors. Sometimes the band is, you can't even tell what's going on because of all these damn colors. And the band were a little sloppier the night that they actually filmed it, but it's still a really fun show. So I highly recommend it if you're a Stones fan. You kind of can't go wrong there. All right, we're going to jump over to my favorite band of all time, as you're probably getting sick of hearing me say, but Deep Purple. A couple of really cool live from the Vault recordings came out latter part of last year. So the first one is, of course, the California Jam performance from 1974. So live in California, you know, indispensable. This was really great. This was done on the Burn Tour in front of 500,000 people at the California Jam Festival, and just really, really classic. Coverdale, Hughes, Blackmore, Pace, Lord, Ritchie, you know, smashing up his guitar and knocking the camera guy, you know, all that kind of stuff. You don't see it, but you hear it. This is basically the soundtrack to the DVD that came out a couple years back. Grass, 1975. This is the second to last, or third to last, can't remember, show that they did with Blackmore before he left to form Rainbow. So this is recorded just before those infamous final 2 shows. So this is the third to last show, recorded at an ice skating rink in Austria before they went to France to do the last 2 shows before Blackmore flew the coop. This is great. Probably missing a little bit of content. This should have been a double disc set. It's only 1. So, you know, you get, this is obviously the Stormbringer tour. So the band were just, you'd think with Blackmore almost on his way out, they would have been kind of lacking a little bit, but he was playing just as great on this tour as he ever did, if not better. So, you know, you've got Burns, Stormbringer, The Gypsy, Lady Double Dealer, Mistreated, Smoke on the Water, You Fool No One, and Space Truckin'. Space Truckin', I think, is edited a little bit. You Fool No One is missing the drum solo from Ian Pace, and the encore of Highway Star is not on here. So I don't know whether those tracks survived. I don't know, but they're not on here. But anyway, it's a really cool set. If you've got the Paris, the final Paris shows, those are great. You know, and it's just got loaded with photographs and all sorts of really cool stuff. So if you're a Purple fan, you know, you need this. You probably have it already. Highly recommend that. To round out the Purple stuff, we've got Live in Stockholm, 1970. Great 2-disc set. You know, again, this is on the In Rock tour, so this is before Machine Head, so a little bit different set than Made in Japan. Obviously, it's a little bit before then, so you've got here double disc set and a bonus DVD, so you've got Speed King, Into the Fire, Child in Time, Wring That Neck, which is like a half-hour long or 20-some-odd minutes long, Painted Black, featuring a drum solo, CD2, you got a 30-plus minute Mandrake Root, Black Knight, and then there's a couple of extra tunes from show in Paris a couple months beforehand, a John Lord interview from 1971, bonus DVD live at Grenada TV from 1970. You got Speed King, Child in Time, Wring That Neck, Mandrake Root, Previously available only on VHS, now on DVD. I mean, come on. You love the Gillen era of purple. Gotta have it. I can't say much more about that. Or also, reissue fronts. The wonderful folks at Audio Fidelity, hybrid SACD/CD, limited edition of Scorpions Blackout from '82. Sounds killer, whether you have a SACD player or not. This sounds just as great in your regular CD player. If you got the SACD format, well, you know what? This is probably the best Blackout's ever going to sound. So if you love the Scorps, this is probably one of the best albums ever, at least my favorite from the like early to mid '80s era of the band. Gotta have it. Last but not least, Joe Jammer Headway. Never heard that name, Joe Jammer, before? You probably haven't. He's actually appeared on a lot of albums as session guitarist throughout the '70s. He was Jimmy Page's guitar tech through the late '60s, early '70s. Started up a solo career. This has got Mitch Mitchell on drums, John Gustafson on bass, and a host of other players. This album should have been huge. It was never released back in the day due to all sorts of issues with his visa, being able to go on tour, and record company kind of lost interest. They were signed to a major label. Really good guitar player, solid singer. He's actually got one of the old singers from Sha Na Na on here doing vocals, and he sounds great. It's just really good, funky, bluesy, jazzy, hard rock. If you love the Jeff Beck group, the early '70s version of the Jeff Beck group, that's kind of what this sounds like. Really, really tasty stuff. On the Angel Air Records label, highly recommend this. This one just really blew me away. It's just so good. Classy songs. We're going to quickly, because we're running way over today, we're going to quickly do Forgotten Favorites. One of my favorites of all time, something that doesn't get talked about often enough, but if you're in the know, you have this and have loved this for many, many years. Death Walks Behind You by Atomic Rooster. Vincent Crane and company, John Ducan on guitar. I mean, you know, this is just killer. I'm going to call it proto-metal because I don't know what else to call this. Heavy, heavy Hammond organ. Crunchy, heavy guitar riffs. Killer drums. Just, I mean, the songs are great. They're heavy. There's great jams on it. You know, blistering guitar work. This is like, you know, can't really call it prog because it really isn't. This is like early metal. I don't know. If you love early Deep Purple, Uriah Heep, mix in some Black Sabbath, that's kind of what you get. So heavy Hammond organ, heavy guitars, great vocals. I love it. If you've never heard Death Walks Behind You by Atomic Rooster and you are a heavy rock fan, you need to hear this. I can't put it any simpler than that. So that's your homework for today. You got to go out and listen to it. Go on YouTube and check out, see what it sounds like, and then go out and buy it. Got to have it. With that, I'm going to leave you today. We've run way over here on our inaugural 2015 first show of the year. Again, Happy New Year. We will see you next week. So till then, take care. Listen to a lot of great tunes, and be ready for more great stuff next week. Take care. Bye-bye.